Hello, GotAUkulele reviews are back. We had a break last week, but now back to normal. Loads coming over the next few weeks for you. This is a brand I've featured before. It's a well-known brand to most of you, I think. US brand, Ohana ukuleles, and it's one of their Sopranos, a newish one from them. I looked back, I've done quite a few Sopranos by Ohana, and they've all been pretty decent, ranging from one of their entry-level laminates through to things like their entry-level solid wood one, the SK-39, and the SK-39, which is more fully featured, and they all score pretty consistently. As I say, this is a fairly new one from them, and what those other ones have in common is they all kind of look like Martin mahogany Sopranos. They take the cue from the original. This one, though, probably turns that up to 11 because this is a full-on replica of a Martin ukulele. It's a replica of a Martin Style 3, and as you can see, really attractive looking thing. I say replica, it's not an exact replica, it's more sort of taking cues from, but we'll get into that. So what we've got is an all solid mahogany body ukulele, single piece top, single piece side, single piece back, finished in satin. It's a nice dark sort of vintage looking thing, and I think it's really attractive. And then we start going into the decorations. So we have this multiple ply purfling around the top in black and cream, and that's repeated in the back with less ply, but still purfling, and those same black and cream stripes creating concentric rings around the sound hole. I think it's really attractive. We get a maple binding strip around the top and the back. That's not plastic, this is maple wood. I think that's really nice. And then we get more maple inlaid down here in something that is called the parend or the pendeloque, and it's a feature that was on the Martin Style 3s, and it kind of sets off the finish of the instrument, as you can see. I'll come on to my gripe with that in a moment, because it's to do with the neck, but never mind. They don't specify what the wood is for the slotted bridge. I do like the way Ohana shape the edges of their slotted bridges. They're really nice. Probably walnut or something like that. And that's a straight a bone saddle. Neat and tidy inside-ish, bit of glue spots, notched linings, which I can't really quite show you, and fairly delicate bracing. No real complaints there at all. Up to the neck, this is mahogany in 3 pieces, and it's topped with an Ovankol fingerboard. And here's my issue. So we've got a bit of shaping at the end in that traditional sort of Martin moustache shape at the end. But on the Martin Style 3, that shaping is a complete mirror of the parend shape. So, if you're going to make the parend that shape, why don't you make the fingerboard shape match it? It's an OCD thing, and it irritates me. But of course, it doesn't change the way the ukulele plays. We get 17 nickel silver frets, 12 in total, 12 to the body, and they're all dressed really nicely and pretty decent. That wood on the top, incidentally, does look a bit pale and dry. You'll see better in the photographs in the written review link below. But we're beating around the bush. It's all about that stripe, isn't it? So you've got this wooden inlaid stripe, again very reminiscent of the Martin, that runs right down the length of it, and I think looks great. Double dot position markers at 5, 7 and 10, they look great too. We have side markers as well. So really, it seems like there's not much to complain about, but I'm afraid there is, because the profile is typically Chinese, rounded at the back, and it's only 34mm at the nut. That ain't a Martin. What a shame that they didn't take the opportunity to make the nut wider. A real shame, I think. I mean, it's playable, but I wouldn't buy one. Headstock, obviously a Martin shape, 3-pointed crown. That is fitted with an Ohana script logo. I like the Ohana logo. I don't like the fact that they've not put that one on straight. And I also don't like the fact that this is quite an expensive ukulele with sort of nice appointments and details. Why did they use a screen print? Why not put an inlay in there? I've seen them use inlays before and they do it really well. I think that looks a bit cheap. Tuners, they had to be friction pegs to keep in with the look, and these are entry-level Gotos. They're not the best in the world, they're not the worst, but I'd want to change them. They're used by Koea and people like that. I just find them a bit grippy. And then it's fitted with Aquila strings. You're making a Martin mahogany replica, why not put some fluorocarbon strings on it? Why don't to zing it up. That's what Martin would use. They put Martin strings on their Martins, surprisingly. Okay, maybe you don't want to do that, Ohana, but there's plenty of other fluorocarbon you can put on there. I just don't think Aquila strings are the right strings for something like this. I want my instrument to be snappy and bright, and I don't think Aquila do that. Still, it's very well made, and it's got great volume and punch and sustain, but it's got a tone to it which many of you will like, and there's nothing wrong with it, but I find it too warm for a mahogany soprano. I want a soprano to be bright and zingy like Martins are, with a rounded tone. And I don't know whether it's the strings. I think it's the strings. I think if I put Martin fluorocarbons on this, it would change it dramatically. Yeah, as I say, it's not a bad tone, and it gets a good score on the written review, but I don't know. Let's try that again. The string's going out of tune a bit. But it's not the tuning, it's the warmth. It's too dark a tone, I think is a better way of putting it. Still, this is not a major gripe. I think it's a really nice looking, well made instrument. I think a lot of people are gonna love this, but it needs a string change for me. But I know that's a personal thing, and many of you might like it, but I'd have to change the strings. So not without its gripes, but still a very good score actually, and still recommended because I like what they've done. It's a nice little thing. The Ohana SK-39. Go carefully. I will be back next week.